Good evening, everyone. Bonsoir tout le monde. Welcome to a special council meeting for November 9, 2023. On va commencer avec l'appel, roll call. All members of council are present and accounted for. Item 2, adoption of the agenda. Motion to approve the agenda as presented. I need a mover and a seconder, please. Moved by Councillor Tarnowski, seconded by Conseiller Lalonde. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Item 3, déclaration d'intérêt pécuniaire. Hearing, seeing none. Item 4, rapport des départements et comités du conseil. Item 4, reports from department and council committees. Item A, concept update for the recreational complex, report PR 16-2023. Recommendation that council receive report PR 16-2023 dated November 9, 2023, and approve the option B for the new revised concept. To reduce the width of the pool lanes to 2.15 meters, reduce the community hall to 4,000 square feet, to remove the gym and to remove the track. We've all had a chance to look over the report. I'm sure everybody has had a lot of reflection to do. Before we moved on to the report, though, I just wanted to highlight that I will be proposing an option E, if you will, that we'll be able to discuss, looking at the report, looking at the numbers. Option E that I will be recommending is that we remove the track and the gym, we remove the junior A room, and we reduce the seating from 750 to 250 to match the other two arenas. We wouldn't touch the pool, we wouldn't touch the community center, and it would pretty much bring us to within 2% of our target range. So that being said, I'll open up the floor to Monsieur Godin and Madame Guitard, unless members of council have questions that we want to start off with. But Councillor Deacon?
Would you mind repeating what you just said, the option E proposal?
So option E, what I'd be proposing would be to remove the track and the gym, to remove the junior A change room, which really hadn't been part of previous discussions, and to reduce the third rink seating from 750 to 250. So we would have 250 seating in each of our 3 rinks. So that way, the community center stays as is, the pool stays as is. We still have our 3 rinks. As the report says, the track and the gym we actually have in the dome. So I think it would stay closest to what the intent of the original concept was, with allowing us to be within budget targets. So, yeah. So I'll open up the floor to Monsieur Godin, Madame Guitard. I know I've mentioned option E. Oh, I see that we were able to put a drawing up. I don't know if we want to go straight there, or if member councils want to look at that, what that would look like. So this is option E, c'est ça, madame? On a des copies papier aussi? Perfect. Yeah, so as we see on the drawing, there is the overall concept we envisioned doesn't change dramatically. The majority is the second floor is gone, and we a little bit more straight line in regards to the facade, but the pool remains untouched, which would allow for still to have our FINA level swim competition pool. The community center would still remain at its 10,000 square foot, which is able to be divided into 3 sections, which is probably better considering that most of the activities we have are for smaller groups. And we still keep the 3 ice rinks, which was a high demand to make sure that we had the availability of extra ice time in our community. So, yep. So throwing it out there. Financially, Mr. Godin, Madame Guittard, if you can confirm, that would come in within 2% of our target range, correct?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Members of council, that is correct.
Councillor Tarnowski, then Conseiller Lorrain.
Juste pour le bénéfice des personnes qui sont à l'écoute, juste pour vérifier ou confirmer, le rationnel qui indique que le coût va baisser, c'est basé sur square footage, right? It's based on square footage that we have this new price. So really, whether we take off seating, the seating or the original idea that was to cut the community hall in half, like it was always based on square footage. So it's not, because at this level, it's just a cost per square footage, right? So the logic now. And so based on that calculation now, we know for sure that the amount is, what's the total with this option?
Falls within 2% of
So
our target range,
Okay, all right.
because we're not discussing
Yes,
amounts.
I get it, thank you, I got it.
Conseiller Lorrain?
What if any escalation timeframe extension would be required for option E? I'm assuming minimal based on the fact that the design is pretty much the same design other than slight modifications.
Thank you very much for the question. Madame Guittard?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. So the timeline that the architects have given us is 13 weeks, compared to the 4 months that we had previously with option B, which is about like 3 months and 1 week, basically.
Okay,
So, of course, it's always an assumption, but that's what they gave us.
yeah, I guess for me, it makes sense that if for whatever we do is that we need to try and be open as of August of 2026, right? Anything after that time frame really puts us in a position where we have to then operationalize one or both of the other arenas, which I'm assuming is something that we don't want to do, right? I mean, we would probably in April or May of that year, you probably want to start decommissioning those facilities as arenas rather than work on getting them prepped for September or August, depending on what they are. So I believe that the original time frame was April of 2026, so
It was May 26th?
June, July, August, so that would bring us within that August
It
timeframe?
would be very close to that, yeah,
Okay,
if everything goes well.
okay. So within 2%, and again, that's, if we get some positive pricing, competitive pricing at the tender stage, then, maybe we are a little bit bang on or underneath that price as well. Okay, that's my comments for right now. I may have more after.
Okay. Councillor Tarnowski?
Yeah, just again for confirmation, the 250 seating, which would be 250 for each of the arenas, how does that compare with our current seating in, say, Embrun or Russell? Ballpark?
I would probably say that it's about 200 at least, because you got, not for Russell, for Embrun, because Embrun you got bleachers on both sides. In Russell, you only have bleachers on one side, which would be smaller. And don't forget, if you have seating of 250, you still have space in the back for standing. So it's always a little bit more, obviously, so.
Merci.
D'autres questions, commentaires? Conseiller Lalonde?
Well, I don't want to get ahead of the thing, but I do want to say that I am quite a bit more in favor with this brand-new option because it preserves the FINA accreditation for the pool. Not to say that we're going to be trying to attract international competition, but certainly my understanding in talking with people in aquatics the last few days, City of Ottawa, that it is certainly, though, an attraction at the high school level in the regions and the college level that you would want to have that. Never mind by keeping that width, it also improves the revenue potential with a full 8-foot width for that lane and in being able to run simultaneous lessons at each end of the pool. So I'm very pleased to see that that stays there intact as designed. Not to forget that it was the top vote getter back in the day in the surveys that went out. You know, it came in first in terms of a priority for the community. So I'm glad to see that it remains intact. I'm also glad to see that the rec complex, the size that we had in mind now can be preserved, and the 3 rinks. So I think what it amounts to when I look at the whole proposal is that we're going to get the things that we needed to get. We may not be getting all the things we wanted to get, but we're certainly getting the things that we needed to get. So I'm good with that.
Thank you. Conseiller Lorrain?
I don't think it's any secret that I've been a very big proponent of the rinks being built in this township. It's been quite a while that I've been focused on those. But I think the biggest thing here for me is not only preserving the 3rd rink, but ensuring, and I'm going to echo Councillor Lalonde's comments and the mayor, is if you're going to build the pool, you might as well build it to the proper specs. And I think that preserving the FINA accreditation for that size of the pool would have been something that I would have been extremely focused on in this discussion. So I'm glad that has been brought in another option to maintain that. And again, this is coming from a rink guy. I'm happy for that. And you know, am I 100% happy with how we have to get to that? No, but you know what? There's compromise in everything that we do. Understanding all the financial parameters, and you know, at the end of the day, hopefully we get some additional funding that comes our way. Hopefully we get some good tender pricing, and maybe there's a way to salvage some of the stuff that we may be putting to the side now at that point in time. So I think it's I'll support the option E at this point in time. Again, that's, you know, we'll have to go. I think we're going into closed session after, so we'll have further discussions there. But that to me right now seems reasonable based on the discussions from last meeting and what we've seen in our report.
Okay, thank you very much. Just to clarify, going into closed session is only if needed. So if it's not needed, then we'll avoid that one. Okay, Councillor Deacon?
I'm favorable to this amended option as well, and I appreciate the mayor bringing this forward tonight. I'm a rink gal, I'm a community center gal, and a pool gal. I think that these are the 3 heart projects of the rec complex, and I'm very pleased to see the creativity and ability to be able to go to tender with these 3 options and heart pieces of the recreational complex in mind. A resident reminded me today of the community hall in particular, and we're going to be looking down the road at the future of the arenas, which both have considerable meeting space and gathering space as well. And I'm so grateful that that resident reminded me of that option and that choice that we're going to need to make down the road in terms of what happens with gathering space, and really hit home for me the absolute essentials of keeping the community hall at the size that it's planned to be. I just have a quick question that's on I had residents raising as well concerns around the storage and the ref rooms. Is under this option here, are those changed at all? Square footage of storage for the hockey leagues and ref rooms?
Monsieur Godin, Madame Guittard?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. No,
Okay.
that stayed as the same. Yeah.
That's it for me.
Okay. D'autres questions, commentaires? So just to confirm, this brings us within 2% of our target rate, Monsieur Godin?
Yep, that's correct.
Okay. The administration want to throw anything else into this conversation? I see members of council seem to be agreeable to this option, so. Anything else, anybody? If not, we'll continue with the agenda. Conseiller Lalonde?
I just want to reiterate something you said earlier, Mr. Mayor, which is, you know, we had a budget for this, and we're, for good reasons, not going to get into the numbers with regards to that, but suffice it to say that it started with a budget, And like anybody at home, you know, you want to find out how much money you've got to spend before you go out looking for stuff. I think we've done a very commendable job of that, staff. I just want to take a short second to thank you for the work. You've been plowing through this for the last few weeks, especially when the numbers changed. Had to come up quickly with options about some tough decisions we would have to make. So I want to thank you for bringing up the first 5 options. It sort of gave us some inspiration to work on some permutations of that. You had the harder work to start with. I want to thank the mayor too for arriving or coming to rest on the option that he presented tonight. And want to thank the public too, before we go further, for all the input that they've had in this project, and especially the last 3-4 meetings, the meetings that we had this year, and for Madame Guittard, those stakeholder sessions that you held this summer. I wasn't expecting to see as many meetings, to be honest, especially with the going back to the stakeholders. But I think all of that work has helped to get us to where we are tonight, and I just want to thank everybody for the effort, and you, Mr. Mayor, for that option, and staff as well.
Thank you very much, Councillor Lalonde. With that, if there's no further questions or comments, I'll go to item 5, which is question period on the meeting of the day. If anybody has questions, please come up to the lectern and state your name and address for the record. Si vous avez des questions, s'il vous plaît, venir au lutrin, puis votre nom, puis votre question, s'il vous plaît.
Charles Armstrong, 85 Castle Denburn. You've looked at the actual construction costs here, and in this case, you've removed costs or you've deleted things based on square footage, so that's at best a Class C estimate. Has anybody looked at the actual costs of removing that in a Class B type of estimate, where you've actually looked at the items that were being removed and the cost of each item?
Yes. So I can't get into the details, but Monsieur Godin, we can confirm everything was done with the consultants at the Class B level?
Yes, that's correct, Mr. Mayor.
The next question then goes on. Obviously, remove something because costs are going up. What about operating costs? Has that been looked at in the long term for this project before and after the removals?
Monsieur Godin, Madame Guittard?
I can answer that one. So operating costs are always being considered when we're looking at updates to our financial plan.
Okay. What are the annual operating costs estimated at right now?
Monsieur Godin, not sure if you have that information at this point?
Through Ms. Mayor, so no, I don't have the specific information at this point in time, but like we mentioned in the report, the full financial plan updates will be presented to council before we do award any
contract.
So after the tender process, when we come back with the tender results, we'll have a full public detailed update on the financial plan, including the operational costs.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing, seeing none, so we'll move on to the resolution portion. So resolutions, motion that council approve all recommendations listed on the agenda under item number 4 from department and council committees. So we'll need to put the resolution on the floor and then make an amendment. So the resolution that council receive report PR 16/2023 dated November 9, 2023 and approve option B for the new revised concept. Which was to reduce the width of the pool lanes to 2.15 meters, reduce the community hall to 4,000 square feet, to remove the gym and to remove the track. So I need a mover and a seconder to put that on the floor. So moved by Councillor Tarnowski, seconded by Councillor Deacon. So the amendment would be, we remove the track and the gym, or sorry, let's go back here. So I'll have to change that a little bit. Oops. So that council receive report PR 16/2023 dated November 9, 2023 and approve option E for the new revised concept, which is we remove the track and the gym, We removed the junior A room, and we reduced the seating from 750 to 250 to match the other two arenas. No change to the pool and the community center. So I need a mover and a seconder for that amendment. Moved by Councillor Tarnowski, seconded by Councillor Lalonde. Councillor Lorrain, question?
Yeah, I do have a question for Madame Guital, if you don't mind, before we vote on, just want to make sure. So under this option E concept, will there be 0 second level access for anything? Based on the fact that there won't be the gym and there won't be the walking track? Is that where the square footage comes out of?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. Yes, and obviously, if you don't have a second story, you're losing the elevator, you're losing some exits, so that's all.
Part of those costings.
Bringing down costs. There might be some HVAC, those kind of components upstairs, but this will only be for staff, not the general public.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So we have a mover and seconder. Further questions? Councillor Tarnowski?
Just clarification, when you talk about the seating, I know there's only one rink with 750 seatings, but should we mention it was rink 1 in the resolution?
No, I think, well, all the 3 rinks will have the same amount of seating.
Yep, that's correct.
Okay, so we have a mover and a seconder for that amendment. No further questions. I'll call for the vote. All those in favor? All those opposed? Carried. The amendment is carried. Any further questions? No? Okay, the amendment's passed. Now we'll call for the vote on the resolution as amended. All those in favor? All those opposed? Carried. Item 7, bylaws, we have none. Item closed session, we no need to go into closed session, so we'll be able to avoid that one. So confirming bylaw, that bylaw 2023-119 being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the Council of the Corporation Township at its special council meeting held on November 9, 2023, be read a first, second, and third time and passed. Need a mover and a seconder, please. Moved by Conseiller Lorrain, seconded by Councillor Deacon. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Monsieur Godin, Madame Guittard, another vital step in this path forward. I think that, the longer we were to debate this, the longer we push this project back. Obviously, there's escalation costs that can be quite significant in a project this size. So, as Councillor Lalonde said earlier, thank you very much for the work you've put in. I know we've had a few special meetings that were never planned at this point in time. But I look forward to continuing this project and look forward to seeing the next steps with the consultant. So that being said, our next regular public meeting of council will be held on Tuesday, November 14, 2023. We are adjourned at 5:23 p.m. Merci beaucoup tout le monde. Thank you very much, everyone.